Hey guys, so I was going to do a houseplant tour slash plant tour in general, but then I realised a bunch of my plants have pests and they're not where they normally are, so that would kind of be pointless. So I decided I'm going to attempt to root divide a calathea. Maybe I'll kill it, we'll wait and see. And then also pot up my newest calathea that's in this ridiculously tiny pot. It's just the smallest pot I've ever seen. So, oh, and I'm also going to pot this guy into a bigger pot because I keep losing leaves on him and I'm too scared to water him more, but I think it's from underwatering, so we'll be doing that guy as well. Okay, let's start with dividing this calathea. Okay, I'm hoping that I can just split it somewhere down the middle. I'm gonna get a knife. So I have a knife, and I guess I'm gonna cut it. Well, that's definitely gonna die. Okay, before I plant it up, I think I'm gonna sprinkle some cinnamon on the open wound part of it, and then hope for the best. At least it smells good. So I'm going to go for two 125ml pots. Now my soil mix is a lot chunkier than a lot of people use for calatheas, just because I use chunky soil for everything. They're in a pretty chunky mix already, but mine is like 50% potting mix, 50% perlite, and other stuff. Not sure if that's focused. Pot them up. So I'm breaking all the rules that I set for myself about calatheas lately, in terms of buying a bottle baby and then root dividing a plant. But here we are. Rules are made to be broken, right? So once I have these guys potted up and ready to go, I'm going to let them sit for maybe just like an hour or two, and then I'll water them in with sea salt. I just want the roots to dry out just a little bit where I cut them. That actually looks good if it doesn't die. Only time will tell. I'm a little bit nervous about it. This will be my first ever go at doing root division on calatheas. And I honestly was like, nah, I'll never do root division. Too risky. I think you just like get to a point where you're like, oh, it's fine. I'll manage, right? With everything, like I'm already starting to look at expensive anthurium seeds. That's not going to happen, hopefully, because I feel like that's just wasting money, right? I don't know. That's a long, long commitment. It takes like such a long time for anthuriums to grow into actual plants. And then, like, I guess, sell them. Pretty happy with how this is looking though. I was going to put them in a smaller pot, but I think this pot is perfect. So my sound cut out because nothing's perfect. Anyway, it was super windy, so it doesn't really matter. So this is my newest calathea. I picked it up from Big W, where you can sometimes get pretty good deals. It came with a little ceramic pot for $10. It's in this tiny, tiny, tiny little root ball, and it does have a little plug on it, but the plug is super soft and it was kind of just falling apart. But I just tried to gently take as much of the peat off as I can, and then I'm going to plant it into a clear pot. I am really a fan of these clear pots. This size in particular is the exact same price as the black ones from Bunnings, so I thought I'd grab the clear ones and use them where I want to. It just means you can actually see how the roots are going and see if they're growing out from the existing root ball or if they're kind of just getting trapped and going round and round and round. And you can also see, like, if they're sticking out the bottom, whether they're actually filling up the rest of the pot as well too. So hopefully he will thrive in this pot, and hopefully also the clear pot will help me not to overwater or underwater him. I probably need to be a bit careful to start with because his root ball is in peat while the rest of him is in my chunky mix. Now I have my Hoya, I think it's called a compactor, but it's Hoya Indian rope, and my video cuts out before I transplanted him, but basically he's a lot drier than I expected him to be, and he's been dropping leaves, so I decided to pot him up just to help with water and to hopefully keep him a bit more hydrated for longer and give him further for his roots to expand, because he's grown a lot. He came in a really small pot too. So whenever I pot something up or I plant out a propagation, I always give them a bit of a sea salt soak. In this case, because the potting mix I was using was a little bit dry, I've added a drop of dish soap, which just helps to rehydrate the soil Otherwise you can end up with hydrophobic soil and your actual plant isn't getting as much water as you think because a lot of the soil is staying dry. So the sea salt is a soil conditioner, so it helps to settle in the new roots and helps them to have less shock between transplanting, which these calatheas that I split in half definitely need help with shock because they're definitely going to be a bit shocked from having their whole root ball chopped in half. I'm expecting to lose some leaves and I don't know if they'll even bounce back this summer or whether it'll have to be next year. It's not really recommended to do this at this time of the year. They recommend doing it in spring, which it is not. Another advantage of the clear pot is that you can see how well the water has flowed through your whole pot, and it makes it easier to see if there's any dry patches or if you've managed to soak the whole thing. So I'm going to leave these guys in this for about an hour and let them soak up all of the goodness, and then I'll pop them in the shade and hope that they recover. So thanks for watching, guys. If you have any tips, if you've root divided a calathea before, please comment down below because I'd love to hear other people's experience. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next one.